Okay, hi, my name is Aditi and I own a wildlife lodge in Satpura Tiger Reserve in MP called Forsyth Lodge. I didn't think of Forsyth actually, it was my dad. And he kind of heard of these two properties that were being sold, one in Pench, one in Satpura, at like a really good price. And my dad's been like a landman from the beginning, so he's always known that I was very passionate about wildlife. So just when I was about 20 or 21, he bought these two lodges, knowing that later on in life that I'm going to take these up as my businesses. I'm primarily a filmmaker, but this is essentially like my operating sort of asset. And I think that over the years, I've come to realize how lucky I am to have a place like Forsyth, because 44 acres of wild land next to a tiger reserve is not something that you just stumble upon. So I think he had the foresight, and now I'm reaping the benefits. So thanks, Dad. My dad bought Forsyth in about 2013, and I think at that point it was still a upcoming place, so the rates were quite manageable. We got, like I said, we got at a good price. So I think he had that foresight to be like, it will grow at some point, And I didn't understand anything. Like I said, I was 21. Now I'm 35, and I've been operating the business for like 6 years. So now I realize how the land, the value, the tiger park is appreciating, and so everything around it is growing. So from the first time I visited Forsyth in 2012 to when I just went a couple of months ago, I mean, essentially it's the same place, but like the land prices have gone up 4x. Luckily, the lodges have just remained few because they're not giving permission to too many new properties coming up, which makes it even more valuable. I think the secondary pivotal point in which I started realizing the value of this land is obviously my husband, right? Like, because my dad's a landman, but my husband is like a contemporary landman. Like, he's like doing stuff in Alibag and places that are up and coming, and so he sort of brought to my attention. I guess he made me realize how valuable what I have is, and never to sell or get rid of it, because you don't, like I said, you don't get stuff like this, very rare. So we bought the lodge as an already existing lodge. We just sort of renovated it, but stepping onto the land for the first time was surreal, right? Because you were essentially stepping into a forest. So I saw deer, wild boar, I saw a lot of wild animals there, which I've not seen in an Indian context when it comes to hotels. Like, that's always been sort of an Africa related thing, that you camp out in the wild and you have lions and hippos and stuff outside your tent. But I've never really seen it in an Indian context. So that got me really excited to be like, there are all these animals that are inhabitants of this land. And that's sort of the USP, I think, that we have always gone by, that it essentially is like your own tiger reserve or your little forest outside your cottage. So it was mind blowing. I mean, I went soon after we bought it with my sister and my dad, and we all just, I think I was too young, but I think they really saw the potential of what this place can be. And absolutely, they're right. I mean, there's so much more we can do, but already it's just fantastic. I think Forsyth has always had an established philosophy by the guy who first started it, right? This guy called Hashim Tyabji. He was a conservationist, he was a nature guy, and he was trying to marry luxury and hospitality and being eco-sensitive as a lodge. So he already set down the principles of Forsyth, which was eco-luxury. We just took it to another level. So the philosophy has always been, all our cottages are made out of mud. We have no plastic. We have almost no light pollution. Everything from our operations, from the check-in to the checkout, is done very mindfully, keeping in mind the environment, the landscape, the animals. Our junior staff, like 25, 26 of them, are all hired from the nearby villages. So you're also sustaining livelihoods. And these guys have been with us since the inception of the lodge. So I think that's always been the philosophy, is to provide guests with a very feel-good feeling of visiting, because you know that even though you're having a luxury experience and you're having a holiday, you're giving back to this environment in some way, shape or form. So that's always been the philosophy. That's what we'll always do, and we're always looking for ways to up that. So I think it was a great thing that Hashim did, and I think it'll always be the philosophy of the place, and it's synonymous to Foresight. I think that what we want guests to leave with is something that I've been feeling a lot, and I think a lot of people share my thought, where you just really want to disconnect sometimes from the city, and you don't want to just disconnect from your phone and all of those superficial things, but you want a new experience when it comes to your food. Here in the city, you don't know where your food's coming from. I have this very idealistic way of like, oh, I'm going to have a farm and I'm going to grow my own food. You can go for 3 or 4 days to Foresight, eat that food that we grow on the property. You know where it's come from. You go to the garden, you speak to the chef, he tells you how he has made this whole thing happen. So I think that the thing that I want guests to leave with is just, I think in a world that's becoming increasingly connected in terms of technology, there's a disconnect that's happening with us internally. And I feel it every day, like whether it's being present in a conversation or eating your food like without watching a screen or doing anything mindfully, being present. I think stepping into that environment just disconnects you, and you really just have to be present. Like you walk through the landscape and you see a troop of langurs, you're not going to be scrolling on Instagram. You're going to be like, what are they doing? So it forces you to pay attention. And I think that's really important. And I think everyone needs that more and more nowadays. So I think that's going to be very scarce and rare. So places like this will always be in style, because you'll always want to escape from this. So I think that's why it's so special, and that's what I want guests to leave with. I've always been a little insecure when it comes to like running a business. Like I'm a filmmaker, I'm a creative. So I've always like shied away from numbers and P&L, and my dad makes a lot of fun of me just because I can't read certain numbers on a P&L, like really stupid stuff. Like he's surrounded by women who can't do math, and Mihir, my husband, as well. So I think it really forced me to be like, this is a challenge I have to take up. And I think I was forced to grow up very quickly in the first year of business, because within a year of me taking over the lodge, the whole team quit. So like I had no team. So I had to rebuild my team from scratch, which was great. But at the time it was like awful. And now like 5-6 years later, I'm like, whatever, dude, like throw anything at me. Now I'm ready for this small business, So for me, it feels like I've just evolved so much over these last 5 or 6 years, just in terms of my confidence and how I feel like I have the ability to do something that I just thought I'd never be able to do. So I think that it's been really enriching. But I do think now I'm reaching that point where I'm ready to take it to the next level, and I do want another challenge when it comes to Foresight. So I'm just hoping that there's another period of growth that's coming my way. My husband and I have 7.5 acres in Karjat, And we've been contemplating for the last 2 years, should we sell it because we need the money right now? Should we make our farm? So I'm in that flux, because it is so much to think of, and like it's such a good investment. So you don't want to use it as your personal like property, but like also then you have a dream of starting your own farm. So I mean, I think him and I are just going to go for it. We are going to make it a farm, and we are going to see that through. So I'd say just go for it. Like if you can, and there's a bit of a risk involved, it's okay, because like you can still balance it out. Like we're thinking of making a farm, but we also want to commercialize a part of it, so we can still like make money and earn revenue from it. So maybe a combination of things, because it will always appreciate. What you're building on, it will add value. So I mean, I think everyone right now wants their own farm. They want to grow their own food. They want their own water. They want to be off the grid. They want the government to control, whether they're buying gold or whether they're traveling abroad or whatever the F the government is saying. You just want a place of your own that you can just be safe in. And so I'd say that's invaluable, and you'll make money later. Don't tell me this. So I'd say go for it, because I'm going for it. So that's the advice I'd give people.